The Hàvamàl, Part 2, starting with Maxims for all men. Praise day at even, a wife when dead, a weapon when tried, a maid when married, ice when 'tis crossed, and ale when 'tis drunk. Hew wood in wind, sail the seas in a breeze, woo a maiden in the dark, for day's eyes are many. Work a ship for its gliding, a shield for its shelter, a sword for its striking, and a maid for her kiss. Drink ale by the fire, but slide on the ice. Buy a steed when 'tis lengthy, a sword when 'tis rusty. Feed thy horse near a roof, and thy hound in the yard. The speech of a maiden should no man trust, nor the words which a woman says. For the hearts were shaped on a whirling wheel, and falsehood fixed in their breasts. Breaking bow or flaring flame, a ravening wolf or a croaking raven, routing swine or rootless tree, a waxing wave or a seething cauldron, flying arrows or falling billow, ice at night time or a coiling adder, women's bed talk or a broken blade, play of bears or a prince's child, a sickly calf or a self-willed thrall, witch's flattery or a new-slain foe, brother's slayer, though seen on the highway, half-burned house or a horse too swift, but never so trustful as therefore to trust. Let none put faith in the first sown fruit, nor yet in his son too soon. Whim rules the child, and weather the field, and each is open to chance. Like the love of a woman whose thoughts are lies, is the driving unroughed over slippery ice. For a 2-year-old, ill-timed and gay, or in a wild and steering a helmless ship, or the lame catching reindeer in the rime-filled fell. Lessons for lovers. Now plainly I speak, since both have I seen. Unfaithful is a man to maid. We speak them fairest when thoughts are falsest, and while the wisest of hearts. Let him speak soft words, and offer wealth, who longs for a woman's love. Praise the shape of the shining maid, he wins who thus doth woe. Never a whit should one blame another, for a folly which many befalls. The might of love makes sons of men into fools who once were wise. The mind knows alone what is nearest the heart, and sees where the soul is turned. No sickness seems to the wise so sore, has it not to know content. Odin's Love Quests. This one I felt when I sat without in the reeds and looked for my love. Body and soul of me was that sweet maiden, yet never I won her as wife. Billing's daughter I found on her bed, fairer than sunlight sleeping, and the sweets of lordship seemed to me not, save I lived with that lovely form. Yet nearer evening, come thou, Odin, it then wilt woo a maiden. All were undone, save 2 knew alone such a secret deed of shame. So I way turned from my wise intent, and deemed my joy assured. For all her liking and all her love, I weened that I yet should win. When I came long, the war troop bold were watching and waking well. With burning brands and torches burn, they shoved me my sorrowful way. Yet newer morning I went once more, the housefolk slept in the hall. But soon I found a barking dog tied fast to that fair maid's couch. Many a sweet maid, when one knows her mind, is fickle found towards men. I proved it well when that prudent lass I sought to lead astray. Shrewd maid, she shot me with every insult, and I won therewith no wife. Odin's Quest for the Song Mead. In thy home be generous to guests, Discreet shalt thou be in thy bearing. Mindful and talkative wouldst thou gain wisdom of making me mention of good. He is simpleton named who has naught to say, for such is the fashion of fools. I sought that old Jotun, now safe on my back, little served my silence there. But whispering many soft speeches I won, my desire in Sutung's hall. I bored me a road there with Rati's tusk, and made room to pass through the rock. While the ways of the Jotun stretch over and under, I dared my life for a draught. 'Twas Gunnlod who gave me on golden throne a draught of the glorying mead. But with poor reward did I pay her back for her true and troubled heart. In a wily disguise I worked my will, little is lacking to the wise. For the soul stirrer now, sweet mead of song, is brought to men's earthly abode. I misdoubt me if ever again I had come from the realms of the Jotun race. For I had not served me of Funeled, sweet woman, whom I held in mine arms. Come forth next day the dread frost giants, and entered the High One's hall. They asked was the bale worker back mid the perrors, or had Sutung slain him below. A ring oath Odin, I trow, had taken. How shall one trust his troth? 'Twas he who stole the mead from Sutung, and Gunnlod caused to weep. Counseling of the Stray Singer. 'Tis time to speak from the sage's seat, hard by the well of Weird. I saw and was silent, I saw and pondered, I listened to the speech of men. Of runes they spoke, and the reading of runes was little withheld from the lips of the High One's hall. In the High One's hall I was heard the High One say, I counsel thee, stray stranger, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Arise never at night time, except thou art spying, or seekest a sport without. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsel. They will be thy boon if thou obey'st them. They will work thy will if thou winst them. Thou shalt never sleep in the arms of a sorceress, lest she should lock thy limbs. So shall she charm that thou shalt not heed the counsellor words of the king, nor care for thy food or the joys of mankind, but fall into sorrowful sleep. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Seek not ever to draw to thyself, in love whispering, another's wife. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Should thou long to fore over fell and firth, provide thee well with food. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Tell not ever an evil man, if misfortunes thee befall. For such ill friend thou needest never seek return for thy trustful mind. Wounded to death, here I seen a man, by the words of one evil woman. A lying tongue had bereft him of life, and all without reason of right. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou winst them. They will work thy will if thou winst them. Haste thou a friend when thou trusted well. Fare thou to find him aft. For thy brushwood grows, and thy grass is high, the path where no foot doth pass. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. In sweet converse call the righteous to thy side. Learn a healing song while thou livest. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Be never the first with a friend of thine to break the bond of fellowship. Care shall gnaw the heart if thou canst not tell all the mind to another. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Never in speech with a foolish knave shouldst thou waste a single word. From the lips of such thou needst not look for reward of thine own goodwill, but a righteous man by praise will wonder thee fairen in favour and love. There is mingling in friendship when men can utter all his whole mind to another. There is naught so vile as a fickle tongue, nor friend is he who but flatters. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my commands. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Oft the worst lays with best won low. I counsel, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Be not a shoemaker, nor yet a shaft-maker, save for thyself alone. Let the shoe be misshapen or crooked the shaft, and a curse on thy head will be called. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. When in peril thou seekest thee, confess thee in peril, nor ever give peace to thy foes. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Look not upon battle, when men are as beasts, lest the rights be with thee with spells. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Rejoice not ever at tidings of ill, but glad let thy soul be in good. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Wouldst thou win joy of a gentle maiden, and lure to whispering of love, thou shalt make fair promise, and let it be fast. None will scorn thy weal who can win it. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. Thy will be the boon if thou obeyest them. Thy will work thy weal if thou winst them. I pray thee be wary, yet not too wary, if wariest of all with ale. With another wife, and a third thing eke, that knowest outwit thee never. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. Thy will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. Thy will work thy weal if thou winst them. Hold not in scorn, nor mock in thy halls, a guest or a wandering wight. They know but unsurely who sits within, what manner of man is come. None is found so good, but some fault attends him, or so ill, but he serves for somewhat. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. Thy will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. They will work thy weal if thou winst them. Hold none in scorn the hoary singer, oft the counsel of the old is good. Come words of wisdom from the withered lips of him left to hang among hides, to rock with the rennets and swing with the skins. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. Thy will be thy boon if thou obeyest them. Thy will work thy weal if thou winst them. Growl not at guests, nor drive them from the gate, but show thyself gentle to the poor. Mighty is the bar to be moved away for the entering in at all. Shower thy wealth, or men shall wish thee every ill in thy limbs. I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsel. Thy will be the boon if thou obeyest them. Thy will work thy weal if thou winst them. When ale thou quaffest, call upon earth's might. 'Tis earth drinks in the floods. Earth prevails over drink, but fire over sickness, and oak over binding, the ear corn over witchcraft, the spur over rapture, the moon over rages, herb over caddles, and runes over harm. That was Hàvamàl, Part 2. And I'll put a link underneath each one of the different chapters. Have a blessed evening.